Mr. Beglaryan, please make your remarks.
Thank you. Dear colleagues, I come from the Republic of the Nagorno-Karabakh, or Artsakh, and I was born there in 1988, the year when the Karabakh movement started. It was a movement for freedoms and liberties because the Karabakh people wanted to restore the historic justice and added the decision of Stalin made in 1921 when Karabakh annexed to Azerbaijan. The Soviet and especially the Azerbaijani authorities' reaction was quite aggressive and brutal, and they organized or supported some pogroms of Armenians since 1988 until 1991 to make Armenians stop their struggle for freedoms and the reunification of Armenia. You have already watched some details about the siege taken place in 1991 November until 1992 May. Though I was a kid, but I remember some details during that siege because my family was also living in the blockaded Stepanakert. I clearly remember how our family, and not only our family, I mean our neighbors, our relatives were starving, and we every day went to the bed with empty stomach. I remember how I and my brothers were calling black bread as cake bread, because even black bread was so rare and so desirable for us. We often went to a storage where some dried breads were kept for animals, and we took those dried breads to our family to eat. I also remember how Azerbaijani artillery were targeting the civilians and the buildings, targeted our building and destroyed 2 apartments. And I remember when I was playing at the yard, the Azerbaijani aircraft flied very closely over our building and bombarded neighboring building, killing some civilians. And my 11-year-old cousin was killed by the Azerbaijani bombardment, another place of the town. And there were lots of civilian losses in many families in that period. That kind of offensive actions made our forces mobilize and abolish the Azerbaijani strongholds surrounding Stepanakert. And since then, since 1992, for 2 more years the war lasted, took tens of thousands of lives from both sides. And in 1994 the ceasefire was signed between Karabakh, Azerbaijan and Armenia. Especially in the recent 15 years, the Azerbaijani authorities have chosen the way of heavy armament and encouraging anti-Armenian hatred. Just an example, when Ramil Safarov in 2004 killed an Armenian officer in Budapest while asleep at a Budapest hotel during a NATO course. And then the Azerbaijani authorities heroized that action. Even the ombudsman, who is supposed to promote human rights, stated that this ex-murderer should be an example for Azerbaijani youth. Since 1994, ceasefire, the peak of anti-Armenian hatred policy was the April war in 2016, triggered by Azerbaijan. It started with heavy shelling of the Karabakh, some towns and villages, and some kids wounded, and a kid was killed during that shelling on their way to the school. More brutally, the Azerbaijani forces entered Talish village and tortured and killed 3 civilians, including one 92-year-old woman. They even cut off the ears of those 3 civilians. And they also mutilated and tortured and beheaded the soldiers, the Armenian soldiers who they could capture. Azerbaijan behaves in the same way in all spheres, including economic, cultural, social, etc. They always try to isolate the Karabakh population from any kind of international communication. But I guess all of you agree that Karabakh people deserves all human rights like everyone on the earth deserves, regardless of their legal status. This kind of hatred actions actually make the possibility of enduring peace more vague. But Karabakh people want peace because we value the lives we are regularly losing on the front line, even on these days in every year. We value the Azerbaijani people's lives too. And we don't want to see any crying family, regardless of their origin. But we understand that the only guarantor of our security is our army. It keeps peace not only for ourselves, but actually for the Azerbaijani people too. It also keeps the peace for the whole Caucasus region. And in this regard, we can say that Karabakh or Karabakh Army is a real security partner for the international community who wants peace, who wants stability and security in the region. Actually, personally, I also prefer peace. I also want peace because I know too well the price of the peace, the price of the war. Because when I was 4, I lost my father in a battle for protection of our homeland. And when I was 6, I lost my eyesight as a result of a landmine explosion in Karabakh. But on the other hand, I'm also ready for protecting our homeland if it can make the peace more possible, if it can protect more people, and if it can prevent more losses in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beglaryan. Now we just have some minutes. I'll take 1 or 2 questions if we have time, or some comments. Please, does anyone have any questions? Okay, then. Yes, please.
Do I have a microphone?
It's not working there.
Yeah.
Please open. Please open.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay.
I have 2 questions actually. The first question to Mr. Artak Beglaryan. You mentioned that the people of Nagorno-Karabakh would like to be recognized. I'm wondering, even Armenia does not recognize Karabakh as a as a independent country. So I'm wondering, like, how do you see the future, and whether Armenia would recognize one day Karabakh, how that would affect the talks? And the second question, well, obviously Azerbaijan recognizes the territories of Karabakh as theirs, as occupied territories, and is not happy with the status quo. The last 23 years of negotiations have brought no results. Karabakhis and Armenia and Azerbaijan in a very volatile situation of no war, no peace. Do you think the status quo can be maintained for a long time without a renewed war?
Thank you. Short answers. Firstly, I didn't mention that Karabakh people want to be recognized. Firstly, Karabakh people want to be secure. Security is the first priority for us. And we seek recognition if recognition can provide more security, nothing else. Because we live, we create there in Karabakh without any international recognition. But for sure, recognition will increase the security, and recognition will increase our opportunities to have international communication. But Armenia can recognize, and I'm sure that will recognize one day, when Armenia sees that it's the best way to go on. At this moment, I can't say officially because I don't represent Armenia, but I guess that at this moment Armenia doesn't prefer to recognize because of the, let's say, uncertainty of the future. If Armenia is sure that many other countries will recognize after Armenia's recognition, in that case I'm sure that Armenia will recognize. For the second question, status quo, maintaining status quo is not so easy, but it depends firstly on our army, on our strength. Secondly, it depends on the international community. It's not easy because Azerbaijan is heavily arming its own army and trying to go out from the military lines. But I'm sure that it will not be possible because defense and protection takes less resources than offensive actions. That's why we try to have asymmetric responses and asymmetric actions in order to keep balance with Azerbaijani armament. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beglaryan. Unfortunately, it's time to close. I am informed by the officials here that we have to stop. Thank you very much for being with us. We hope to see next year again to be here and in better conditions for the people of Nagorno-Karabakh. Thank you and good night.